Welcome to our session. In this afternoon, I would like to talk about chronotherapeutic approaches in the treatment of mood disorders. Today's theme is about this topic, and my speech will be focusing on chronobiology and psychotherapy. My goal is to introduce these practices, and if you don't use it, you didn't use it yet, I would like to motivate you. The treatment of mood disorders are drugs. We don't have much alternative, and unfortunately they don't actually fully effective. They have adverse events, side effects. It messes up with the sleep cycle. It has late effect, efficacy, and many other things. We need alternative treatments. Chronotherapeutics takes the basis from chronobiology, the biologic clock is the research area of this department. Last few centuries, it increases the count, all the studies in the literature, entomology, the process, and chronobiological changes started to be documented, and studies are coming up even more. Psychotherapy, abnormalities, sleep cycle disorders, major depression symptoms, and seasonal mood swings. From that perspective, maybe mood swings etiology could be understood better and effective treatments could be developed. Well, the world is turning in its orbit for 4.5 billion years, and this turn is actually provides the most stable variable to the people living on Earth. This is the day and night cycle. All living beings, including humans, should be adaptive to those changes. And in order to survive, biological clocks are actually developed. Human also has a biological clock. We have 24 hours of an endogenous clock. It depends on the kind, and humans actually have one day that has a little bit more than 20 more hours. In order to use it really well, we have to actually change the clock every day. Let's take someone to a cave because that we have a longer time period for a day. Those people are actually starting to live in 24-hour cycles. And every day we arrange our clock, synchronize our clock to the daytime because we are actually arranging it according to the light of the sun. The most important element is the light here. Melatonin practices having suitable meal hours, heat changes, our weaknesses change during the day, and social activities actually help us arrange this clock, but none of them as effective as the sunlight. With those information, we can change our biological clock. Well, in mood disorders, how can we evaluate it etiologically? How can we arrange it accordingly in the treatment? The mood disorders are related to periodical changes. We see it every day in the clinics. The seasonal loops, especially in fall and winter, you see depression. I mean, actually gets triggered in the spring with our biological clock. It is controlled during the day. According to our biological clock, our mood swings actually shows us changes. In the morning time, we have high energy and focus, learning. It's all under circadian control. It's like a loop, and mood disorders and chronobiological correlations has two ways. We have chronobiological changes coming up, psychedelic normalities, and vice versa. There are some events that changes this jet lag and shift changes, unstable social life and circadian sleep disorders. We have more disorders and it worsens the situation. In depression, the chronobiological changes in depression, we all know of them. Mood swings, approximate body temperature increase, cortisol, segmentation, melatonin issues, waking up earlier than normal, pacemaker sound, pacemaker disruptions, cadential cells, genes expressed in brains, and we have neuroinflammatory conclusions in the neuroplasticity. We have disruptions and effects on the neurogenesis. And in depression, in actually changes our focus, memory, and actually it has basic changes in the fundamental part. In the SM, sleep disorders are one of the important symptoms, insomnia. In the atypical findings, as Anna also mentioned, our first speaker, in bipolar disorder, we also have sleep disorder. The most important feature of the sleep disorders is actually preliminary to attacks. It will continue during the attacks, and especially in the bipolar disorder, in remission duration, it will be continued. It shows us the circadian changes. As I said, those were all about people of sleep disorders. This is a Canadian research. It's our subjective happiness. The feeling of happiness is actually under circadian control. In the lower part, I don't know if you can see it. We have core body temperature, which is measured rectally. You can see the cycle, there's a pattern. And it has a 0 point, and that 0 point are usually in the morning hours. It's 6 hours in the morning. Individuals feel happiness in the healthy adults is worse. It actually affects behavioral and physical functions and mental functions. First chronotherapy method is the light therapy. We have a saying, if a light doesn't come into a house, a physician will. A study was made where people are incarcerated and they actually compare the people who are staying in the cells that doesn't have any windows and the cells that has windows and sunlight comes in. And they found out that the individuals who stayed in the cells that has windows and sunlight comes in had lesser health problems reported. As we see in the literature, there was a retrospective study about bipolar disorder patients. Their rooms were checked again with the windows that has direct sunlight and the opposite. They check out the inpatient accommodation rations and they show that the ones that has windows which direct sunlight comes in are actually discharged 367 days before than the others. But the modern life actually disrupts us. There was a study in San Diego. It's similar to Antalya. An approximate person actually has direct sunlight less than an hour. A light treatment is actually is a simulation of sunlight. We have a light source that has similar night wavelengths to the sun. We can arrange it with the desired duration with desired density. It is started to be used and it's actually very effective on the seasonal mood swings. Then it's effective on major depression and they also had important positive results. This is why this is an alternative treatment today. In general, percent lights that has UV filters could be bought for 500 Turkish liras and it has the 10,000 lux power. It could be used for 3 to 5 weeks to treat depression. In general, psychotics are actually shifting towards the frontal end. It is actually practiced like the sunlight coming in the morning. If we apply the light in the morning, biological day is shortened. If we do it in the night, it will be furthered. So the biological day is actually lengthened. So, as you know, the hormone that is segmented, which is called the hormone of the darkness, the photoperiodical information could be transferred to all the cells by the blood flow. Cells could get the information of the day and night, so it could be actually helping us like an agenda. Melatonin is under a circadian control. But vice versa, when you segment melatonin, it also provides the similar effect. I mean, the light information and darkness information are actually transferred and we have the same effects with the practice of melatonin, usage of melatonin. We can change the rhythms as we desire. We can also use both so we can actually create a synergical effect. Our second approach is to treat the Sleep deprivation is controlled with two methods. First is the circadian control. It is hard to sleep or not according to the time frame of the day. And in a healthy individual, these two methods are actually harmonized by one another. And in the night, you can sleep quickly and have a deep night sleep. And in the morning, you can have high stimulus effect and move on with the day. But still, even though the sleep is controlled by circadian controls, sleep itself has a pressuring effect. This black line actually represents sleep, and you can see the circadian rhythms that are measured rectally. As we can see, this individual got up at 6 a.m. and aptitude was decreased. If we sleep in the morning, then circadian aptitude decreases in the morning. And in the lowest one is the part where there is no sleep, which sleep deprivation is this all days and night, the following night and the other night until the time of the sleep. This individual doesn't have any sleep. According to the studies that I made, an approximate sleep deprivation is can show an antidepressant effect. 60% of the sleep deprivation patient is the fastest antidepressant practices. It's almost fast as a KT. After the first sleep episode, this antidepressant effect is decreasing. As similar to EKT, like a cure, for example, 5 or 6 practice, 6 applications could be made or could be controlled by other chronotherapeutic methods, so we can have a continuous result. Here, I actually made a table. Total sleep deprivation. There is a regular sleep period. The red part is the sleep deprivation time frame until the one day after this total sleeplessness condition continues. This individual is not sleeping until that time. This is the total sleep deprivation. Is according to the individual's resistance to sleeplessness. There are also partial sleep deprivations, in early partial sleep deprivation or in late partial sleep deprivation. And in the literature, people are mostly studying on REM sleep or sleep deprivations. There are some variations, and as we see, late partial sleep deprivation is the most effective one. Thus, if you are sensible to sleep so much that you can endure total sleep deprivation, then you can have it in ease and have a successful effect with late partial sleep deprivation. And last but not least, in the last chronotherapeutic approach, we can have sleep phase advancement. In circadian tens, we mostly have a shift towards the front, and sleep has a masking effect on this control. If you sleep in the wrong period of the circadian tens, has a depression effect. I mean, it is thought as so. So, what did we do here? We changed the sleep phase towards a little bit an earlier time frame, and it would remove the acute symptoms as it is expected. It's not as fast as sleep deprivation. It takes 5 or 6 days, but if you Depre- if you make a depression patient that has insomnia at 6 p.m., is something challenging. So we can start with total sleep deprivation. You can just move a little bit forward with the time around 6 hours. For example, that person could sleep at 6 p.m. Then this is the fast version, but in the regular version, 1 hour, 1 hour, people could start sleeping normally. This is actually a combination with total sleep deprivation and having sleep phase advancement. Especially in the bipolar depression, I have a triple chronotherapeutic practice, and we have some hours that you can use this light method, so you can also get a response within a week, like real fast. In conclusion, today in the mood disorders, we have to use medicine. Sometimes we have a lack of treatment or we have resistance. Sometimes when we have challenge, when we need combinations, current therapeutic approaches could be an alternative. By merging them with existent treatments, they can also used solely and they can also combined among each other. One other function, they are cheap. For example, sleep deprivation is free. Night treatment is a few hundred Turkish liras. You can buy as much as you want and use it. Non-invasive methods. These are so if you have liver failure or kidney failure, you can't use any drugs or you have side effects of the drugs, these can be used as an alternative. Myself, I use pregnant women and postpartum depression patients these alternative methods so the patients are really easily convinced because it won't harm the child or the pregnant individual that they accept the treatment really easily. This is why these alternatives that I really desire to introduce, maybe you'll have some motivation to use them. If you have any questions, I can easily answer.